Hey guys, Mr. Lalamandir again. Today we're going to be working on forms with Lolly. We're going to be drawing some forms with me. We're going to start with some basic shapes. I'm going to draw each one with you, but I'm going to show you which ones we're going to be doing. We're going to be working with the sphere. S-P-H, sphere. Starts off like a basic circle. We got a cylinder. Okay, got an oval at the top. Look at that curved base of it. Got a cone, almost like a triangle, not quite. And a cube, or rectangular prism. I'm going to go with cube. That's a big word for an art teacher. Okay, now, we're going to go one by one. We're going to look at a couple things. We're going to look at how light affects a shape to turn it into a form. And to do that, you need to concentrate on a couple of concepts. One is how does light work when it's shining on an object? And another thing is, how do you make that appear like it's happening in a picture on a flat piece of paper? So taking a shape and turning it into form, you need something in the middle, and that is value. Okay, so shape plus value equals form. Value is talking about how light or how dark something is. It also involves things like shadows and shading. Okay, we're going to start with one of the easier ones. It's a little bit trickier for some of you younger guys, but we've actually done this year with pre-K. So I know that they can do this. This will just be a review for them. But we're going to start with the cylinder, and it starts with an oval at the top. Notice the oval is sideways, okay? It's laying horizontally. Then I put two legs. Almost looks like a table, right? Now the base of it, since this is a round object, the cylinder is like a can, okay? The base of it also has to be rounded. And that's why we put this curved line in here, okay? Now, if I was going to do a shadow for this, I would want to know where light's coming from. So let's say I determine my light's coming from over here and it's hitting this object here. That means over here, I'm going to have my shadow somewhere. So what I'm going to do first is make it look like it's sitting on something. I drew a line, and when the cylinder got in the way, I continued and hopped over it. So the cylinder shadow, I'm going to make it kind of short. It's just going to be a straight line from here, a straight line from here, and then a curved line to touch the two together. And I'm going to color that in all dark. Okay, so that's going to be my cylinder shape. Now I'm going to work on something called a gradation, and going from light to dark gradually. Because you have a cylinder, light wants to travel across it more gradually. There's no sharp edge like you would have with a cube. So because of that, I want my shading, the value, to go from light to dark gradually as well. Here's my shadow. That means over here is going to be my darkest part of my shading. Okay? I want you to watch and then maybe pause it and try it on your own. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to press as hard as I can over here on this side. I'm pressing very, very hard right now. As I come across the shape, I'm going to press lighter and lighter. And as I hit the other side of the shape, I'm barely touching the edge over there at all. Okay? So it goes from dark, where I press really hard, and as I come across, I press lighter and lighter. I'm going to leave the top light. I got my shadow here, and I got that quick, I got a form. So let's look at some other forms really quick, okay? So, next one we're going to do is a cone. Quick one. just a triangle at the top. My hair's getting in my mouth. And a curved line at the bottom. Okay? Because a cone is rounded like an ice cream cone. I'm going to put my table in, basically put in a horizon line. Now it looks like it's sitting on something. Again, I'm going to pretend my light's coming from this angle over here. So there's my light shining from there. So my shadow is going to be over on the opposite side of that. And it's just going to be a triangle, like this. So all I did was touch the bottom. I drew a line out and back. And I'm going to color that in all the way. Now I'm using marker and crayon. You could do this all with crayon. You could do it all with marker. You could use oil pastels, do a good job. Colored pencils, regular pencil, whatever. Okay? But the best ones that work are things like crayons and pencils. They do a really good job of getting that transition from dark to light. Here's my shadow. And again, I'm going to go dark to light, or hard to soft. So I'm pressing very hard here. As I get near the middle, I lighten up my hand. By the time I get to the other side, I barely touched. Okay? So really hard right here. And when you start getting your lines towards the middle part, lighten up. And then when you get over here, it's like your crayon is barely floating over the surface. Okay? And again, that's called a gradation, going from light to dark gradually. Okay? So another form that we talked about a minute ago. We have a cylinder, we have a cone. Let's talk about the sphere. This one's easy to start, a little bit trickier to shade. I'm going to start with a circle. Easy part, right? I'm going to put in a horizon line, kind of like it's sitting on the table again. The sphere's round, so my shadow's going to be round. Pretty simple. I always like to start my shadows so that they're touching the bottom of the object, and then they come out and back to the object. So that's basically like I just stuck an oval on the side of it, right? Like a half oval. And again, I'm coloring that in dark. I'm going to use a different color for my shading this time. I'm going to use blue. And actually, guys, and I've said this in class all the time, you know I like my crayons kind of peeled and broken. And I like to hold my crayons not always like a pencil, but like this. And I learned that in art school. It really helps me a lot, especially when I'm doing shading. You can try it, see how it works out for you. But anyway, when I'm doing the shading, going from dark to light, my shape is round, so my marks are going to be kind of curved like that. Almost like a rocking back and forth. So I'm going to press very hard over here because I'm near my shadow. As I come across, I'm starting to lighten up my touch. As I hit over here, I'm hardly touching there at all. Okay? So this part, really hard. In the middle, lighten it up. Right here, I'm barely even touching. Okay? So going from dark to light gradually. It's a rounded object. Light is traveling around it slowly, gradually. Last one is the cube. Now, rectangular prism is trickier to draw, but it's a lot easier to do the shading with. Okay? So it's tricky, but I think some of you guys can do it. I even think my pre-kindergartners can do it if you slow it down, take it step by step, pause whenever you need to. I'm going to start with a diamond, and this diamond is laying on its side. So I'm starting with an upside down squashed letter V, and then one going like that. Okay? So I got my diamond, it's laying on the side, and I'm going to give a leg on each one of these bottom corners. So each one gets a leg, just like on a table. So I do a long one here in the middle, and two shorter ones on the side. You don't want them all the same length. Notice the one in the middle is going down farther than these two. Do you see that? Okay, that's important. Now I'm just going to connect the bottoms of those legs with straight lines. Real simple. Okay, real quick. Mine's kind of wonky. Yours may end up like that too. Doesn't matter. This is a practice. This is a sketch. We're just learning techniques. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with my line and make it look like it's sitting on something. Again, my light's coming in from this way. You don't have to draw the arrow. I'm just putting it up there to remind you. Shining, landing here. Now, if this is the lightest edge, okay, the top is going to be really light. That means this side over here is going to be really dark. So that's where my shadow is going to be. And it's just two lines and another straight line, okay? I stuck a line here, and a straight line added to it. Notice they're all going, these two lines are going horizontally, right? We want that shadow to look flat, like it's on the table, not floating at some strange angle. I'm going to come back with my shading again. This side's going to be really dark, all dark. There's nothing gradual about it. The whole side is dark, okay? I colored that whole side, pressing hard. This side, I want to press it a lot lighter. This side is really soft. Okay? Dark, light, lightest. See how that works? So my light's coming from here. I'm going to let the top be the brightest part. I get this side over here a little bit darker. This side the darkest because it's right next to that shadow. I want you guys to practice some of these forms on your own. Show me what you've done. Upload it into Seesaw. Make sure you're uploading it into the art folder. I'll take a look at them. And maybe later on we can do things with these forms. Instead of just drawing the forms, make something out of them. Okay? Practice them, and then we'll get back to doing maybe some more with it. Until next time, it's been Mr. Lalamandir, and you're drawing with Lolly.